Hello, I'm Tabitha Rossboy, the 2020 National Teacher of the Year and host for Learning Across Kansas. But today I'm here to present the winners for the 2021 Smoky Hills PBS Young Writers and Illustrators Contest. This contest was open to 4 grade levels from kindergarten to the 3rd grade, with the top 3 winners receiving recognition today from each class. The judges had a hard time, but they were able to pick 3 winners from each class, and I'm excited to share their stories and awards with you today. We're going to start with our 3rd place kindergarten winner from Central Kansas.
Hillary Whiskers Pirate Cat by Evelyn Bryant. Hillary Whiskers was a cat that always wanted to be a pirate. The only thing that stopped Hillary was the water. She could not swim. She was scared of getting wet. And she is scared of sharks. Hillary found other cats that wanted to be pirates too. They helped each other to be brave. Even with brave mates, Hillary Whiskers was still scared. The crew came up with a plan. They got Hillary a shallow pool and a floaty to help her practice. Hillary started to dip her paw in but did a flip and landed in the pool. Hillary found out that she could swim to a ladder and got out. She found out that water wasn't bad. She could shake herself dry. Hillary Whiskers and her mates went on a treasure hunt. She was brave with their help. She could now swim. She was not scared of getting wet, but she was still scared of sharks.
Penguin Jack Goes to Kindergarten, written and illustrated by R.J. Baskerville. This book is for my family and all of my friends. Penguin Jack is walking to school. It is his first day of kindergarten. Penguin Jack feels a little nervous. He is sad to be away from home. He hopes he is able to make new friends. He hopes his teacher is nice. When he gets to school, he goes to his classroom. He hangs up his backpack and coat and the cubby with his name on it, and goes to his desk with his name on it. Penguin Jack meets his teacher, Mrs. Ice. She is playful and nice. She teaches them math, and they learn the alphabet. They go to recess. Penguin Jack plays ball with Isla and Snows. They are all his new friends. Penguin Jack goes to lunch. He eats a fish sandwich. After lunch, he has art class. They draw pictures of snowmen. Penguin Jack goes to PE. They play freeze tag. Penguin Jack goes to music class. They sing songs and learn about beats and rhythm. School is over. Penguin Jack had a really fun day. Tomorrow, Penguin Jack won't be nervous. He's excited to go back. The end.
Diplodocus's Scary Day by Oliver Buxted. The dinosaurs are living in Jurassic Park. It's a place with lots of trees, plants, rocks, and sand. Daspletosaurus is hungry, and he wants to find something to eat. Diplodocuses are his favorite meat, so he decides to find one by searching through the trees in the park. Then, Diplodocus hears the Daspletosaurus coming. Diplodocus decides to hide in the trees and plants so it can't find him. As a Daspletosaurus gets closer, Diplodocus is feeling scared and worried. He thinks he hears more footsteps of different dinosaurs coming toward him. He realized that T-Rex and Dilophosaurus joined the Daspletosaurus to help hunt for the Diplodocus to eat. Then Diplodocus sees a big rock and decides to hide behind it so that they won't see him. The other dinosaurs keep hunting for the Diplodocus by looking all around, smelling the air and stopping to listen for it to move, but they can't find him. After looking for a while, not being able to find him, They finally give up. Diplodocus feels relieved and happy. He stops hiding and begins to eat leaves from the trees. He eats until the sun goes down, and then he goes to sleep.
I'm glad Penguin Jack got over his fear of the first day of kindergarten and that Diplodocus was able to hide from the predators. What great stories these writers come up with. Next up, we have our first grade stories. Stay with us to see who the winners are.
It's education, inspiration, and enlightenment about your community and the world surrounding it. Help support the television that supports you and the world you live in. Become a member of Smoky Hills PBS. As a sustaining member, you choose the amount you want to give each month from your checking account or credit card. A sustaining membership starts at $5 a month and includes a membership to Passport, which provides access to an extensive library of on-demand PBS programs. Please call or go online and become a sustaining member today.
Welcome back. Those kindergartners had great imaginations, but now it's time to see how the first grade stories compare. I think with the first one, we're going to learn about Supergirl, who was always there for her friends.
The Friends Adventure. Written and illustrated by Mackenzie Byler. Once upon a time, there were best friends: Jojo, Rosie, Kens, Gun, Pinky, Tiki, Cat, and Power. The best friends were on their way to the first grade when the bus got stuck. Superhero Love, whose identity is only known as Rosie, sneaks out of the bus and gets the bus unstuck. Then the bus went to school, but the friends were scared of their ride home. "I'll save you later," said Superhero Love. As the friends got off the bus, they saw that Rosie wasn't there, but they were late for school, so had to hurry inside. "Wow," said Kun and Titi as they hurried inside the classroom. Mr. Silly, their teacher, heard the excitement. Mr. Silly knew all about their morning adventure because Rosie was there and already told him. The bus ride was fun for the best friends as they talked about their day. Rosie, Superhero Love, was fast asleep dreaming of her next adventure as a unicorn superhero. The end.
Unicorn Forest, written and illustrated by Caitlin Graff. There was once a unicorn named Katie who went for a walk in the forest. While walking along, Katie the unicorn saw a path of candy. The pretty unicorn loved candy, so she started eating it. Soon she was in the middle of the forest and she realized she was lost. Katie, the unicorn, started looking for her glitter path that she always leaves behind, but she couldn't find it. What she did see, though, was a marshmallow that was following her. Katie the unicorn asked the marshmallow what her name was. The marshmallow told what her name was: Princess Katie. "How did you find me, Princess?" Katie the marshmallow said. "I followed your glitter." Katie the unicorn told the marshmallow that she was lost. The marshmallow said, "I can help you find your way home." The marshmallow led Katie out of the forest back to her home. It was late, so Katie the unicorn asked Princess Kate, "Would you like to stay with me?" The marshmallow said, "Yes." So they went to bed. The end.
The Dog That Stole Socks, written and illustrated by Ethan Knoll. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Peter and a dog named Rover. One morning, Peter woke up and looked in his drawer. There were no socks. Peter said,
"Hey man, I didn't have any socks in my drawer."
Mom said,
Go look in the laundry room.
Peter went to the laundry room, but there were no socks there. Peter looked outside in his front yard, but couldn't find any socks. And then Peter saw Rover digging. Rover digging a hole? Peter said,
"Hey Rover."
That's when Peter saw Rover hiding the socks. Peter said,
"Bad Rover."
Peter told Mom that Rover chewed up his socks. And then Rover went in his kennel for a long time and Mom had to get more socks for Peter.
The end.
That dog must really love socks. And Princess Kate and Marshmallow, what good friends. What amazing imaginations young writers and illustrators have. Next up comes second grade. Stay with us to see who the winners are.
PBS Kids, making sure free educational programs are accessible to all children across America. With the all-new 24/7 channel, on TV and streaming everywhere, every child can watch PBS Kids shows. After school, after dinner, whenever, wherever.
Welcome back! Those first graders had great imaginations. Now it's time to see how the second grade stories compare. Our first story starts with a fire in the desert.
The Desert Fire Disaster by Kincaid Damel. One day, a pangolin named Panagalina was walking in the desert with her elephant friend named Elephantina. They were walking, playing, and talking. They did this for hours and hours, when suddenly, lightning strikes a cactus. The cactus immediately caught on fire. To make things worse, the cactus was in a field of cacti. Panagalina held off the fire from spreading for as long as she could, so Elephantina could get as far away as she could. Panagalina couldn't hold it anymore. Before long, the fire spread to the edge of the desert, where the grass and weeds were much taller. The winds started to get heavier and began to whip in all different directions. Flames started to get bigger and were only a foot from the grass. Panagalina and Elephantina panicked and ran towards the edge of the desert to find water. They thought they could use the water to put the fire out and keep it from spreading. But the fire continued and reached the grass and started to get closer to Panagalina and Elephantina. The fire caught up to them. All they could do is run and run. Luckily, while running, they found water. At the last second, Elephantina dipped her trunk into the small pond, sucked up as much water as she could hold, and then with all her might, sprayed the fire. It actually put the fire out. But now they needed to save the rest of the desert. Panagalina cheered on Elephantina to do it again and again because it worked so well. Elephantina did just that, and the fire was quickly extinguished. She did it! Their teamwork saved the desert.
Upside Down Land. Once upon a time in a land far, far away existed a happy little village called Upside Down Land, where everything was opposite. The dogs walked the people and junk food was good for you. But most of all, the kids were in charge. Now everyone in this village was happy except for one person, a mean old lady, a witch. She hated Upside Down Land because nothing was how it was supposed to be. Meanwhile, in a beautiful castle on a hill, lived King Louie, who was the king of Upside Down Land. He loved his village and his people. 3 months had passed, and the old witch had had enough of the village because she hated the kids, and she hated the kids in charge. So, she put an evil curse on the land that made a black storm with deadly lightning. It would destroy everything in its path, and soon the whole village would be destroyed. Back in the castle, King Louie was very nervous trying to figure out a plan to stop the evil curse from destroying his village. His only chance was to visit a good witch named Emma. He asked her to help him. She agreed to help save the village, and together they made a special potion to stop the evil curse. Once finished with, Emma threw the potion up into the air towards the storm with both arms. The storm immediately started to vanish. Upside Down Land was saved. The end. Bird watching with friends. On a nice, sunny morning, Sam is walking in the park. He is wearing a blue shirt and jeans, which look great with his red hair and big smile. He is searching for a good place to view birds because he is supposed to do a school project that required him to identify as many birds as possible in his notebook. When Sam reaches into his bag to get his binoculars, he quickly realizes he forgot them. He feels really depressed because he is supposed to turn in his project tomorrow, and he is frantic that he won't get it done. Sam runs around the park asking people if they have a spare pair of binoculars he could borrow, when suddenly he trips on a rock and he falls to the ground. A boy his age helps him up and asks if Sam is okay. Sam said he is fine and thanks the boy, who he later found out was named Steve. Sam and Steve start chatting and soon become friends. As they talk, Sam notices that his new friend has binoculars. Sam asks to borrow the binoculars, and Steve agrees to share them. Sam's notebook project to identify birds was saved. The boys then see a bluebird, a cardinal, and an eagle. They found out that there are more birds in the park than they thought. They continue searching and later see a sleeping owl. That morning, the two boys saw a lot more birds that they could identify and added them to Sam's notebook. Soon it was lunchtime. Sam had brought a ham sandwich and an apple for lunch. Steve, however, forgot his lunch. Not a problem. Sam just shares his lunch with Steve since Steve let him borrow his binoculars earlier in the day. Steve thanked Sam for sharing his lunch. The two boys had made a great friendship that lasted as long as they lived. The end.
You wouldn't know it by the title, but Bird Watching with Friends is really a dramatic tale. With friends. What amazing imaginations young writers have, and illustrators too. Next comes the third grade. Stay with us to see who the winners are. Welcome back! Those second graders had great imaginations, but now it's time to see how the third grade stories compare. Our first story is about a different kind of kitty.
A new life. My name is Momo, the black cat. I'm kind of shy, but mischievous because I like to sneak out. I'm not really liking my current home and want to escape. The problem is, whenever I try, my owner calls animal control and brings me back. I'm getting frustrated and need a successful plan. One that won't fail. My plan? First, shut down animal control. Second, run away. Third, live a good life. First things first. I'm calling animal control. P.S. I can speak English, so I might prank call you. Okay, shh. Hi, I saw some dogs at the roundabout barking at some preschoolers. Can you catch them?
Yes, right away.
Okay, now they've occupied and it's finally my chance to escape. My plan is to quickly go to the airport to catch a ride with someone. But first, I have to get to the bus stop. It was closed, but the airport was a long way away. I was at the bus stop waiting for a bus, and luckily someone was waiting for one too. Now all I had to do was sneak up the steps when the human walked on. As mischievous as I am, I can surely do this without getting caught. No problem. I'm on the bus. I slid under a seat. The human has no clue I'm even here. Once at the airport, I spotted a very distracted lady with a handbag. I sneakily leaped into her bag and molded myself into the bottom. I heard her talking about going to Hawaii. Bonus! Not only do I get to escape, but I get to live in Hawaii. Before long, I could feel that we were on the plane because the engines were rumbling. I can't wait. Jordan and the Alien from Outer Space. At recess, Jordan and Brian were counting down the minutes until they would meet at the treehouse later tonight. The two boys loved aliens and were convinced they existed. They would meet to share possible alien sightings. At the treehouse, when Jordan saw Brian, he yelled,
Dude, what's up? You won't believe this, but I saw an alien. No kidding, where?
Jordan asked with large eyes. Brian nervously stuttered and whispered,
It's in Redwood Forest. No way, that's the scariest place in town.
Shouted Jordan, the edge of Redwood Forest. Jordan and Brian stopped at the edge of the forest. They questioned whether they should go any further. If there was a real alien, they wanted to be the ones to find it. After walking what seemed like forever, Jordan whispered,
Wait, I think I see something. Oh my god, it's a UFO. So there must be an alien.
Explained Brian. The two boys crept closer to the ship and hesitantly peeked in. Immediately, they both turned and stared at each other with huge, open eyes. It really was a strange, sleeping alien. Later back at the treehouse, the boys were still amazed that they pulled it off and got the sleeping alien into the treehouse without waking him. While they were staring at the alien, it began to wake up and said,
Bob Ziegel bon versa.
Then it continued,
Ziegel bon resources. Ziegel bon resources.
Brian, we have a problem.
Then, realizing they didn't understand him, the alien handed them a note that said,
Dear humans, you better help me get back to my spaceship and help repair it, or else.
Jordan and Brian were scared that the alien was threatening to take them as prisoners. They quickly gathered up tools to help repair the ship. Once finished, they waved to the alien, and within seconds he was swept up into space and vanished before their eyes. Jordan and Brian once again looked at each other and simultaneously said,
Wow, no one is ever going to believe what just happened.
Towering to adventure. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Rose. She and her little brother Peter were just bored because they lived in the country and there was no school that day. Plus, they were in quarantine. So, they went to the backyard and built a tower out of all the toys they got for Christmas. Peter was on the bottom, keeping the tower steady and flying a drone that would carry each toy to Rose. It was hard work, but he managed. Every time he saw a wobble, he had to run and carefully rearrange the tower to steady it. Getting the toys to Rose on the top wasn't too difficult with the drone. The two kids just kept building toy after toy until Rose got so high up that she reached the moon. She started panicking and didn't know what to do. However, Peter had an idea. Peter reacted by climbing the tower of toys. Carefully, toy by toy, Peter climbed until he reached Rose, who was only steps away from the moon. Peter thought, if they actually made it to the moon, they should go on an adventure. They saw craters and played the game Who Float Longer. They had a blast. Later, their mom ran outside looking for them. When she looked in the backyard, she knew exactly where they were. She had no idea what to do other than call the fire department. When the fire department arrived, they recommended that they call NASA and ask for help. NASA sent a spaceship immediately. When they got to the moon, they found the kids playing hide and seek inside the craters. They were having the time of their lives. The astronauts demanded they load the ship immediately. When they got on the ship, they realized that their adventure on the moon had come to an end. Once they closed the door of the ship, they waved to the moon. On the way back, Peter and Rose were planning the story to tell when they got home. It was an unforgettable experience. The end.
Stories about aliens, about unicorns, and toys, and bird watching, and a desert fire. What great imaginations these young minds have. We want to congratulate all of the winners and to thank our judges who represent many different fields of labor. From farmers, a cosmetologist, former teachers, a secretary, and even a nurse. They had a hard job, but they did it well. We hope that all of you put your thinking caps on and are getting ready for our 2022 contest. Information coming later this year. I'm Tabitha Rossbroy for the 2021 Smoky Hills PBS Young Writers and Illustrators Contest. I'll see you next time.